Great, I'm now ready to fill in this email. Now that I have an email ready, I'm going to go back to my Excel spreadsheet under the Peer Evaluation tab. Then I'm going to click on each one of these entries. I'll start with the topmost one. I'm going to click on it, the one for myself. I'm then going to right click with my mouse until a menu appears, and I'm going to select Copy. I then go to my new email and I click anywhere near the top of the email. I right click and I select under the paste options. I select the one that reads Keep Text Only. And voila! The text is now in your email. You can now go over it, do a spell check, modify its contents, add to it. So now for each of the remaining group members, I would do exactly the same thing. Let me demonstrate it for the next group member. I go back to the Excel aid, I click on the second one for member Frankie Frank, I right click to display a menu and select Copy, I go back to my email, I click below the last one I just pasted, right here, I right click and under paste options I select Keep Text Only, and voila! I've just pasted my peer evaluation for member Frankie Frank. Now you can go over it again, do another spell check for this, modify its contents, add to it. And you just repeat this for each member. Now, remember how I mentioned to you that we'd go over what to do if there were more or less than 3 tasks? Okay, so now that you have the text in your email, guess what? You can go and find the tasks that you described for your group member and just simply add them, because this is text. So for example, I just go here and say, this member was assigned 4 tasks, and then you go blah 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 and so on. It's text and you can modify it as you want. You're not limited by the 3 tasks in the Excel spreadsheet. What about if you have more than 4 group members including yourself? You can go back to the Excel spreadsheet, click on the tab Form to fill out, and if you already copied the information for any group member, like in this case Frankie Frank, you can just write onto it information relating to the next group member. So in this case, let's say your next group member is John Smith. I give him a grade of +1, average attendance, average communication, average leadership, and then I fill in all these other fields. I can then move onto the peer evaluation tab and look at this. This is the information for John Smith. I can then click on it, copy and paste it into the email. It's important that you realize that since you are not, and I repeat, you are not emailing the Excel spreadsheet, it does not matter how you fill it out. Okay? If you write over some fields that you've already filled out for a specific member with the information for another member. Another thing that's important to point out is that your professor is expecting you to put in quite a bit of thought in preparing your peer evaluation. It shouldn't be an exercise you simply gloss over and take only a few moments to prepare. Your peer evaluation of both yourself and your group members is very valuable information that allows your professor to peek into the inner workings of your group. One last word of warning. If this is your first time emailing the peer evaluation to your professor, please, please, please send it to yourself first. Let me repeat it by going to the email. Please, 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 if this is the first time you're sending a peer evaluation, send to yourself. So here, put in your own email address before putting your professor. That way, you can see what it's going to look like to your professor and make sure that it looks okay. And don't forget, no attachments in this email. The peer evaluation, it's supposed to go into the text of the email, into the body. And it's supposed to have a proper salutation at the start, a proper salutation at the end. Thank you very much for your time, and I wish you great success in preparing your peer evaluations.